Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is now in session. Court is in session with our pretrial conference plea docket. That's the first docket. We also have the announcement docket and the trial docket. First case is clause number 331636. Case is style of the state of Texas versus Garrett Andrew Theo Williams. Mr. Garrett Andrew Theo Williams, attorney, Mr. Mel Shalander, is present on Zoom. Mr. Shalander, how are you doing?
Hi, good, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Shalander, is your client with you?
Yeah, he's on screen. He's not with me.
Oh, that's him in Galaxy Note 9?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Williams, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's good. Mr. Shalander, how are you doing?
For Monday morning, okay.
Okay, Mr. Shalander, what is your announcement in Mr. Williams' case?
You know, this is going to be a plea, but we're asking for it to be reset. He recently had a motorcycle accident, and is you can see a little bandage on his face, and I think there's some other bandages and injuries he has from that. He has to take pain medication for these injuries. Part of his plea is going to do 72 hours in jail. We're just asking to be reset for a little bit so that he can get off that pain medicine.
Okay, how much time do you need for your reset?
Month or whatever you want to give me.
Okay, well, we'll reset it for 60 days.
That'd be great.
State, you have any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, give us the read. Okay, this case will be reset to December 5th of 2022. Mr. Williams, your attorney, will be given notice of your reset. Stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. They will be given notice of your reset. This will conclude the case. Now, Mr. Williams, the court is praying that you have a speedy recovery from your accident. You're free to go and you have a blessed day.
All right, thank you.
And
Thank you,
Mr. Shalander, this is the only case that you have, so you're free to go as well. And you
Thank
have
you.
but, let's see.
An unusual situation. If you look for my name, it's not gonna be on there.
Oh, what's the defendant's name?
Defendant's name is Teddy LeBlanc. I represent Mr. LeBlanc on this
Is-
felony case.
Is he, okay,
As part of the agreement on this felony case,
LeBlanc.
which is gonna be a dismissal, he's gonna plead to 180 days time served on his 2 misdemeanor drug cases. His appointed attorney is Ryan Matuska, who I've spoken with, is in agreement. Mr. LeBlanc is in agreement, but Mr. Matuska is actually on vacation and has a vacation letter in. And because his felony is set for trial, his misdemeanor pleas need to get done immediately. So I am coming in
hold on, let me
to do
see.
his pleas.
Oh, he's not on the docket.
But because his felony is.
Oh, okay.
We need to resolve this. So I can probably go get with the coordinator and have him added to the docket and.
Yeah, your name is not gonna be on the docket because you're not his attorney.
I know.
And I think, I don't know. Yeah, we'd have to talk to, the coordinator, see how they handle that. Okay. Okay, Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session. Court is in session. Announcement. Next case is cause number 331890. Case is style of state of Texas versus Albert Davis or Albert Myron Davis. Mr. Davis, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Davis? That's good. Mr. Davis, you're here represented by your attorney, Ms. Marva Provo. Ms. Provo, how are you doing? That's good. The state is represented by Attorney Lamar Johnson. Attorney Johnson, how are you doing? That's, now, Ms. Provo, what's your announcement?
I would like to retain this on the announcement, y'all, because he still has his felony case pending. He has court today. And, so we're just waiting for.
Okay, has this court, has this felony case been reset? Okay, so what you're gonna do is, once you get your court date from the felony court, just come back over here and we'll reset it. You want to reset on the same date of the felony?
That's fine.
Okay, because we don't, yeah, they'll give you the paperwork. And even if they don't give you paperwork, just come back over here so we reset your case.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, now make sure you return, because if you don't return, there may be a bond, your bond may be forfeited and warrant be issued for your arrest. Okay, you may be excused. Yes, you may be excused. Yeah, okay, let's see. Is, Mr. Bailiff, is Richard Vasquez present? Okay. This is, cause number 328-720 and cause number 329-186. Both cases are solid state of Texas versus Richard Edward Vasquez. Mr. Vasquez, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Vasquez? You doing okay? That's good. Mr. Vasquez, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Nathan Reynolds. Attorney Reynolds, how are you doing?
Doing well, Judge.
Mr. Reynolds, what is your announcement of Mr. Vasquez cases?
Mr. Vasquez was sentenced today to probation out of the 252nd Court. As part of the plea bargaining agreement, these two cases in your court are to be dismissed. So we'd ask for a 30-day reset to the announcement.
Well, I mean, if it's gonna be dismissed, I mean, the prosecutor can look into that in a few minutes.
Well,
What you,
I'm just saying, they weren't going to do the dismissal until the sentencing. So
oh,
Sure.
so, okay, okay, I thought he was sentenced today.
he was today, but I don't think
He was sentenced today, or was he just reset for sentencing?
he was sentenced today.
Okay, well, we should be able to take care of that today. We could,
I was going to ask if it could get reset back on the announcement docket, and it should be dismissed prior to that docket and never.
I mean, okay, could you look into, checking into that?
Ms. Malpino.
Okay,
I'll confirm it if.
okay, well, we just reset it, but I mean, if we get confirmed information, that'll be reset, that'll be dismissed today.
Okay, we'll wait for a few minutes.
Oh, okay,
Or whatever. the court's pleasure.
okay, no, that's fine. If we can avoid having to reset it, if it's gonna be dismissed today, we'll do that.
Okay, we'll just wait.
Okay,
I'll confirm it right now.
okay. Next case is cause number 327-650. Case is style the state of Texas versus Nathaniel Jones Darbone. Mr. Darbone, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Darbone, you're here represented by your attorney who's appearing via Zoom, Attorney John Macy. Attorney Macy, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Your Honor.
That's
Morning.
good. Good morning. And Mr. Darbone, again, how are you doing? Now, Mr. Darbone, you had a felony case set today. Have you taken care of that felony case?
Waiting to see who's going to trial or not.
Okay, so your case is on the trial it's set for trial today?
Yes, sir.
And so they haven't, I guess your attorney in that case haven't told you whether or not where you're gonna be on the trial docket.
They waiting, they say they just called our name and stuff over there, so they gonna determine who.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have you to go back over to the court, and then you can report back to us as to whether or not your case is actually going to trial, or whether or not your case has been reset for a later date. Okay, so make sure that you come back over here after you get that information, because if you fail to return back over here, your bond may be revoked and a warrant may be issued for your arrest. Okay, and Mr. Macy, he hasn't found out yet whether or not his case, whether or not he's going to trial today, or whether or not it will be reset. Okay, so what we'll do is have him to go back over to the felony court, and then once he gets that information, he'll come back over here. Now, Mr. Macy, if this case is reset to a later date, you would like to have this misdemeanor case reset on that same date?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So we'll do that. And so if he goes to trial, we'll keep you posted on that as well.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, so Mr. Darbone, you can go back to criminal district court and await the outcome of that case. And then, Mr. Macy, I think this is the only case you have here today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you are free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, you're welcome. Yes,
I just sent a dismissal on Zachary Skeets.
it's Skeets.
And he is back
Oh, okay, okay, it's
Part of that plea that
been dismissed, okay.
if he is present, if you need to speak with him.
He can come on up.
Judge on Albert Davis, I'm resetting his case for felony.
Okay,
And this is Mr. Skeets, Your Honor.
okay, he can stand on the X. Okay, this is cause number 332-136. The case is styled the state of Texas versus, it says Zachary Ryan Skeets.
Yes, Your Honor.
How you doing, Mr. Skeets? You doing good? That's good. Now, Mr. Skeets, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Scott Rennick. Attorney Rennick, how are you doing?
Good, Judge. Thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. And Mr. Skeets, your attorney, Mr. Rennick, has informed me that your case is being dismissed pursuant to a plea bargain that you made in a felony case. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
State, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and the court have the dismissal. The court is signing the dismissal. Once your attorney will be getting this dismissal in a few seconds. Once he gets the dismissal, Mr. Skeets, he'll give it to you and you'll be free to go. And you have a blessed day. You can stand right there in front of our court coordinator. Should be printing off in a few seconds. There it is. Okay.
I have a copy.
Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session and calls numbers 329-614 and calls number 329-616. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Teddy LeBlanc. Mr. LeBlanc, is that your full name? Mr. LeBlanc, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. LeBlanc, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God? You may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. LeBlanc? That's good. Now, Mr. LeBlanc, you are represented, it's my understanding that in this case, you're represented by attorney Ryan Matuska. Is that correct? However, Mr. Matuska is not here, and Mr. Matuska has given attorney Jason Nix permission to stand in for him. Does Mr. Nix have your permission to stand in for Mr. Matuska? Now, Mr. Nix, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you, Your Honor.
That's good. Now, Mr. Nix, do you waive a record in Mr. LeBlanc's cases?
We do, Your Honor.
Mr. LeBlanc, I have before me in cause number 329-614, a document that is titled information. This information has been filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, it alleges that on or about October 20th of 2021, of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed to Class A misdemeanor offense of possession of a controlled substance. Mr. LeBlanc, do you understand what you've been charged with? And to this charge, Mr. LeBlanc, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you are actually guilty? Okay, now, Mr. LeBlanc, I also have before me a document that is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. On this document, do you recognize this document? At the bottom of this document, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Is that your signature? There are two boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that? The second box states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize this document? And on page 2 of this document, there are a set of initials TL that are on a line next to a box that says guilty. Did you place your initials on this document? On the third page of the same document, Mr. LeBlanc, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Is that your signature? You have a discovery certification?
I can do one quick, Judge.
So for the court to be in recess. Court is back in session and cause number 329-616, excuse me, cause number 329-614. Case is Tyler State of Texas versus Teddy LeBlanc. Teddy LeBlanc is appearing in court with attorney Jason Nix. Mr. LeBlanc was previously sworn in. He entered a plea of guilty to the Class A misdemeanor charge of possession of a controlled substance. Mr. LeBlanc acknowledged that his signatures, his signatures and initials were on State's Exhibit Number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment, and he also acknowledged that his signature was on the trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal. And Mr. Jason Nix, his attorney in this case, has waived the record in Mr. LeBlanc's case. And Mr. LeBlanc, I have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? Now, Mr. LeBlanc, before you sign and initial all of these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Nix, go over these documents with you? You have to speak up.
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Mr. LeBlanc, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit Number 1?
Yes, Your Honor, state law, state one.
Okay, any objections?
No objection.
No objection. State's Exhibits Number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Nix, you've advised and counseled Mr. LeBlanc. Is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
Not at all, Your Honor.
And Mr. LeBlanc, your attorney, Mr. Nix, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided fully effective and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
And your attorney, Mr. Ryan Matuska, your attorney of record, he has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided fully effective and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. LeBlanc, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, in exchange for defendant's plea of guilty in this case, the state is recommending confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 180 days. We're asking that the court give defendant credit for the 180 days previously spent in jail, Your Honor, making this a time served plea agreement, Your Honor. We're asking that the court also do the time served for both tax and retire with court costs. In this case is to run concurrent with case number 329-616.
Okay, Mr. LeBlanc, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you've already served 180 days in Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for time served. The court cost in this case is $337, but you will not have to pay the $337 because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. Mr. LeBlanc, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And I failed to mention that in addition, this case will be running concurrent with cause number 329-616. Now, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. LeBlanc, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you made in this case. Now, Mr. LeBlanc, the court will move on to your next case. Your next case is cause number 329-616. And in this case, Mr. LeBlanc, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about October 26th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of possession of a controlled substance. Mr. LeBlanc, do you understand what you've been charged with in this case?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. LeBlanc, how did you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty, sir.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. LeBlanc, I also have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishments. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of the same document, there's a set of initials TL that's on the line next to the box that check guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of this same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document that is titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargaining case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? I also have before me a document on paper here that's titled discovery certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? Now, Mr. LeBlanc, before you sign and initial these documents, did your attorney, Mr. Nix, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Uh, State, I have before me state's exhibit number 1. State you like to offer, state's 1.
Yes, Your Honor, state office station one.
Any objections?
No objections.
No objections. State's exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Nix, you advised and counseled Mr. LeBlanc in this case as well. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial in this case?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. LeBlanc, your attorney, Mr. Nix has advised and counseled you in this case. Are you satisfied with his representation
Yes,
in this
sir.
case?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided fully effective and competent legal representation?
Yes.
And are you satisfied? Now, Mr. Matuska has also advised and counseled you in this case. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided fully effective and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. LeBlanc, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plea of guilty in this case, Your Honor, the state is recommending confinement in Jefferson County Jail for a period of 180 days. We're asking that the court give defendant credit for 180 days previously spent in jail, making this a time served plea agreement, Your Honor. We're asking that the court use the time served to both tax and retire court costs. And this sentence is to be concurrent with clause number 329614.
Mr. LeBlanc, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in Jefferson County Jail. In this case, however, you will not have to serve any more time in Jefferson County Jail. On this case, because you've already served 180 days in Jefferson County Jail. The court cost in this case is $337, but you will not have to pay the $337 court cost because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. And this case will run concurrent. I don't see that on here, but and this case will run concurrent with cause number 329614. Mr. LeBlanc, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. LeBlanc, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. LeBlanc, this will conclude your cases. You're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney, follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
You're welcome. We have those two dismissals on Mr. Vasquez.
Yes, sir.
Have you, your client left? When'd you get Mr. Vasquez? Court's back in session and clause numbers 328720 and clause number 329186. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Richard Edward Vasquez. And we have Mr. Richard Edward Vasquez, who's present with his attorney Nathan Reynolds. Mr. Vasquez, the state is submitted motions to dismiss on both of your cases. State, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor. We're dismissing the case, as part of this plea agreement and felony case 21-36835.
Okay, and Mr. Vasquez, I'm signing the dismissals right now, so your attorney will be good to be able to get a copy of those dismissals in a few seconds. Mr. Vasquez, this will conclude your cases. Your attorney will be getting your dismissal. Once you get your dismissals from your attorney, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Reynolds, I think these are the only cases you have today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you'll be free to go as well. You have a blessed day.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay. Are you here, Destiny Lewis? Is that the case you want to approach on? Is that yours? No, that's Mr. West.
I'm here on.
Okay, hold on a minute. You have Glenn Adeli Breeder, that's the case you want to approach on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, just hold on. Okay, he just told me that they're gonna be bench trials. So,
Well, Nelson is actually in jail. She's gonna have to be reset. So I don't know why she's on today's docket, but, Mr. Brado will be a bench trial.
okay,
But I do have to be back in office before 11, Judge.
okay, we'll get a